Okay, so it's come to my attention that a lot of you want to start streaming here in 2025, but maybe you didn't even know where to begin. And well, that's where this new video series that I'm putting out is going to help you. It's going to take you from square one, from nothing, to having a stream, having it look beautiful and nice and crisp to help you stand out in a sea of what seems like a never-ending amount of streamers. There's millions and millions of people streaming on Twitch 24/7. So this series is going to help you get started. We're going to start with the very basics of getting and installing OBS and take you to a level where you know pretty much everything that you need to know to fine-tune your stream to look and sound the way that you want. So let's jump over to my PC and get started. Real quick, guys, before we dive into this video, we have tons of information to go over. I just want to give a shout out and thank you to our sponsor for today's video, Owned.tv. They have so many new graphics and things if you're trying to take your stream to the next level and start with some serious confidence and really nice looking graphics to help you stand out from the crowd.
Owned.tv is the place to go, guys, if you're looking for some fresh new graphics for your stream. Whether you're on Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook gaming, you'll find something that's a perfect fit for your channel. They offer full themed overlay packages, which are great if you're trying to give your stream a complete makeover, but let's say you're just looking to pick up some new alert graphics. Don't worry, because they've got you covered there too. You could find single graphics such as alerts, banners, panels, and logos as well. And one of the best parts about most of these overlays is that they are completely modular. So if you and your friends all pick up the same overlay, such as this Rodan one right here, you can change the colors and tweak it to match your brand, and none of you will have the exact same overlay. If you guys are looking to take your stream to the next level, be sure to check out Own.tv using my link below to support the channel.
Okay, so we're back at my PC, and the first question that most people that want to get into streaming start asking themselves is, do I use OBS or Streamlabs OBS or some other program? The short answer for this is OBS. You're going to want to use OBS. I've tested out every piece of streaming software over the last 8 years, and OBS is by far the best. You get the best quality, the best bang for your buck in terms of resources being used on your PC to run your streams, and it's really come a long way. There's a lot of integrations and a lot of cool features that you guys are going to want to use, and we'll talk about those in later videos. So the first thing you guys are going to want to do is head over to obsproject.com, and you're going to download OBS Studio for whatever your operating system is. I use Windows, so I downloaded the Windows one. Download that, install it on your PC, and open it up for me. Now, when you first open up OBS, you're gonna get hit with the auto configuration wizard. This is a great tool to get us started so that we don't have to deep dive into all these settings and make this video be an hour long. So run the auto configuration wizard. It's gonna analyze your system and your internet and basically set you up with the best settings that it thinks you can possibly have to start streaming, and this is more than enough to work with right now. So run that tool and then come on back. Okay, so once you're done running that auto configuration wizard, you're gonna have OBS. It's gonna look a little bit different than mine. Mine is pretty full right now. It's completely set up. Yours is gonna look blank. It's probably gonna be a black screen. There's not gonna be anything under sources or scenes or any of these docs around here. So the first thing that I wanna talk to you guys about that's really important is, if you are streaming on Twitch, you're gonna come down to your settings right here. You're gonna open these up, and you're going to click the stream tab on the left side. You're going to select the service as Twitch, and then you're going to click connect account, and you're going to log into your Twitch. Now, this is light years ahead of what it used to be. You used to have to go find your stream key in your Twitch settings and set this whole thing up manually. Now you're able to just log into Twitch via OBS. So log into your Twitch, hit apply, and then hit OK. This may or may not pop up some extra docs, like these things you see here, my chat, my stream information, all this stuff. These are what we call docs, okay? These are linked to your Twitch. And if you don't see them, come up to the top and click docs, and you may see them in here. Twitch activity feed, Twitch stats, which is a really good one that I use to kind of track, you know, what's happening, how many subs I'm getting during a stream, how many live viewers I have. If I was live, it would show you all this stuff. Your Twitch chat. So go to your docs, and if you see that stuff there, click it. It'll pop up like this. It's not going to be tied into OBS. You can kind of drag it anywhere you want on your screen, but if you do want to tie it into your OBS, you could take it, bring it over to the right-hand side here or the left side. I drop my chat there, and then I drop the activity feed here. These make tabs if you drop it on top of each other, which is also awesome. So now in my OBS, in one window, I can see my Twitch activity feed. I have my Twitch stats, and then I have my Twitch chat right here. And if I was live, this stuff would also be live. So that is the number one thing you guys want to do if you're streaming on Twitch. This is not yet integrated for Kick And YouTube, it's not as easy. It's still doable, but that'll be a time for another video. So after we got that set up, you're logged into your Twitch account. The first thing that I want to do with you guys is I want to set you guys up with two things in this video. By the end of this video, I want you to be able to hit that start streaming button and go live. And to do that, we're going to need a gameplay scene and maybe a chatting scene. So the first thing you guys are going to want to do is come down to your scenes, which should be on the bottom left-hand side. You're going to hit the plus sign and you're going to create a new scene. Let's just name this testing scene. For you guys, it's going to be called gameplay or whatever you want. I'm going to hit OK. And now everything's going to be black because there's no sources within this scene. You guys can still hear me, but there's nothing happening. So now you guys can see my screen at least. My camera's not there, but I'm going to show you guys how to add that camera in just a second. So what you're going to do here in this scene for sources, you're going to want to come down to the plus sign. You're going to hit video capture device. I already have my cameras listed here because I added them, but this is your first time setting up. So you're going to hit create new. You're going to name it whatever you want, webcam or whatever. And then you're going to select your webcam from a drop down and hit OK. So I'm going to add in my camera right here. That's my Sony camera. It's going to pop up really big. You can shrink it down using these points, place it wherever you want. If you hold Alt, it will crop it for you like that. So you can kind of crop it however you want like that. If you hold Shift, it'll actually stretch it for you. If you let go of Shift, it'll go back to the normal ratio that it was. Like I said, again, Alt is what you hold to crop. It'll give you these green dotted lines to let you know you're cropping something. So that's how you would add your camera, whether it's a webcam, a Sony, a Canon, DSLR camera, mirrorless camera, doesn't matter. It's going to be a video capture device plugged into your PC, right? So the way that I got you guys able to see my screen here is I added a display capture source. You come down to the plus sign, display capture. This capture will capture everything on my screen. Everything that's on my screen will be visible. If I drag windows over, whatever I do will be visible. Now, there's some use cases for this. If you're watching YouTube videos with your audience, if you're showing some documents or something like that, that's what you would be using. But if you are gaming and in your gameplay scene, you're going to want your game and your camera, for the most part, you would use game capture. You would just select the game capture and you would add a game capture. Now this will give you the option. It's going to say mode, capture any full screen application, capture a specific window, or capture a foreground window with a hotkey. You're going to most likely be using the capture any full screen application. Any game that you're playing that's full screen or even borderless full screened will be captured. So that is the option you would use. And now look in your sources. You see how you have your game on top of your camera? The issue with that is that this source window acts as layers, right? It acts as a layering system. So if my game is on top of my camera, let me show you this for example. We have my display capture right here, which is my monitor. If I drag this above my camera, it hides my camera because it's now over my camera. So any display capture, any game source, you want that under your camera. So now it's under my camera will be on top of that gameplay and will always be visible, right? So that is one of the most important things. Now, if we wanted to make a just chatting scene, right? That was basically just your webcam and a display capture, you would pretty much do this exact same thing. You would create a scene. The only thing that would be left out would be the game capture. If we deleted this and we wanted to watch YouTube videos together, now anything that I'm doing here on my display is visible. So this would be a good just chatting screen, and you can take your camera and you can make it bigger. Pretty much whatever you want to do, you have the option to do it there. And when you have your camera or whatever it is that you're moving around, your gameplay, any source within this scene where you want it to be, you would hit that lock icon next to it. This allows it to not be moved. You cannot accidentally move it. Even if I click on it, I can't move any of the elements in this scene anymore because both of them are locked. Now, the next most important piece of advice I can give you guys is going to be audio, right? People can watch something that looks kind of bad, but when it sounds bad, it's even worse. People need good audio. In my opinion, good audio is more important than good video, and it goes a long way. So you want to make sure that you are using the correct audio on your stream. Some people plug in a webcam or a camera and they don't realize that that webcam or camera also has a microphone, and now maybe your stream is picking up that microphone instead of your own microphone. And if that does happen, I just unhid this right here. If you look in the audio mixer, this Sony thing right here, this is my camera that I'm recording on, this one right here. That's the internal microphone of my camera. You want to click the mute button here. Just like that. I unmuted it for a second to show you guys, but you want to click that mute button and then you can right click it and click hide and never see it again. Now, to make sure that your stream is using your correct microphone, you're going to come to settings, you're going to go to audio, and over here in global audio devices under mic auxiliary audio, you're going to select your microphone from this list, whether it's a headset microphone, a USB microphone, a Go XLR microphone, whatever it is, that's where you're going to select it. You're going to hit OK, and then that's going to be popping up down here. Now, another thing people always ask me questions about is like, what's a good way to like switch between your scenes, right? I have this nice transition. If I were to switch to my gameplay scene, it plays my transition, and then here we are. We're going to go back to the testing scene. So there's a few ways you could do this. You could click the scene itself with your mouse. If you just click it, it'll do the transition. You could also use an Elgato Stream Deck, which is this little device right here. It's kind of plugged in. I can't pull it all the way up, but you get the gist of it. You could see it. I have it set so that if I click my scene right there, boom, it's going to send us back to that scene. And then another way you can do it is if you do not have a Stream Deck and you don't want to click through your scenes, you can also come into your settings, go to hotkeys, and set scene switches in here. Now, as I scroll down, you can see these are all my different scenes, right? Let's find like my gameplay scene would be kind of at the top of this. Scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, camera rounded, blah, blah, blah. Main scene, cinematic gameplay. So you would click right here. You would select a hotkey on your keyboard, hit apply and hit OK. And then whenever you hit that hotkey, it'll switch to that scene, basically acting as an Elgato Stream Deck, but it's just your keyboard. Now, some people have a lot more keys on their keyboard than others, but I personally don't. I use these very small keyboards, and I love using the Elgato Stream Deck. It's a fantastic piece of equipment. Now, one last thing that I want to talk to you guys about, like you're going to start streaming, right? You need good music in your streams. Now, on Twitch, there's a little bit of a weird thing where if you're using copyrighted music, your VODs can be DMCA strike. There's a way to separate that audio using a Twitch VOD track, but that'll be another entire video because it's a little bit more complicated. So for the meantime, using good music on your stream is really important. Like I told you guys earlier, audio is more important than video, right? So you're going to want to go to Spotify or YouTube, whatever it is that you're using. Harris Heller, the owner of Senpai Gaming and Stream Beats, made this a while ago, and myself, along with a ton of other streamers and content creators, use this on a daily basis. This is literally copyright-free music. Tons of music, different albums, different styles of music, lo-fi, synthwave, EDM, anything you could possibly think of. If you're using Stream Beats by Harris Heller, you will not get DMCA or copyright striked. It's really important to be pretty harsh about that on Twitch. Their system for recognizing music isn't the best. So you want to be using copyright-free music. Stream Beats by Harris Heller is just that good. It's really good. I recommend it to everyone. I myself use it. It's the music you're hearing in this video right now that I recorded. I use it on my stream. It's great. There is just hundreds of hours worth of music, different styles, different genres that you guys can use. So that should be it for the most part. This should be everything you guys need to start that stream and get started. You downloaded OBS, you had the auto configuration wizard set up your settings, you set up your gameplay scene, you set up maybe a just chatting scene or even just a gameplay scene is completely fine. And now you're ready to go. You can hit start streaming, play some of that awesome music, talk to your chat, and try and start building your community. What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to be bringing you the best possible streaming settings for OBS in 2025. These settings are exactly what I use. Feel free to tweak them to your machine depending on the power of your PC. You can always tone things down a little bit, but this is a really good starting point. And so the first thing we're going to do is open up our OBS and jump down to the bottom right-hand corner here. We're going to click on Settings. Under the General tab, there's nothing here that we really need to mess with aside from source alignment snapping. If you want to enable this, this is going to help you in moving sources and things around in your scenes within OBS. It'll kind of snap them into certain positions. If you disable this completely, you can just free move everything anywhere you want. Over on the left-hand side, jumping down to the appearance section, I use the Yami theme. That's what the coloring here is for my OBS, but feel free to use whatever you please. Next, we're going to jump down to the streaming section. This is where you're going to connect your streaming service. If you're streaming on Twitch, you can log in with your account right here like I have it. That's why it says disconnect account, because I am currently logged in with my Twitch. There is one setting here, though, that we are going to have to check, and that's going to be at the bottom. We're going to check the box that says ignore streaming service setting recommendations. I'll tell you why we did that a little bit later. Moving on to the left-hand side under output, make sure you're selecting the streaming tab right here at the top and then advanced instead of simple so that we can see all of our options. Under the streaming settings for our audio track, we want to have this set to 1. Our audio encoder is FF MPEG, AAC, or whatever your default is. You can use a Twitch VOD track, but I won't get into that in this video. I will explain that in another video. Completely ignore that setting for now if you're just setting up your stream. For the video encoder, I have an NVIDIA GPU. I'm using a 3080 Ti, so I'm using the NVIDIA NVENC H.264 encoder. If you have this available as an option, I suggest using this as well. Or if you have an AMD graphics card, use the AMD counterpart. Under rescale output, we want this disabled. Don't touch anything there. That's if we were to be just rescaling our actual streaming output, which we're not going to be doing. Down under the encoder settings here, we want to set this to CBR. Our bitrate, we're going to set to 8,000, even if you're not a Twitch partner. Just keep that in mind. That is the setting that we changed earlier up here in the streaming settings. Ignore streaming service setting recommendations. If you have that checked and you set your bitrate to 8K, it allows you to go above that 6K cap that Twitch puts on people. Do not put this to 8,001. Do not put this to 7,999. Put it exactly at 8K. If you go one bitrate over 8K, it will automatically downgrade your stream to 720p. So set your bitrate to 8K. Keyframe interval set to 2 seconds. Preset, I have mine set to slowest for the best quality, but this is a setting that you can gradually drop down if you're dropping frames in your games or you're getting encoder overloading errors or anything like that. I have mine set to 7. I suggest setting it as high as you can at first and then working your way down if you have any issues. Under tuning, we want to set this to high quality. Multipass mode, I have mine set to 2 passes, full resolution. You can drop this down to 2 passes, quarter resolution, or single pass, depending on your PC again. Profile, we have this set to high. Look ahead is unchecked. Psychovisual tuning is checked. GPU set to 0, and max B frames are set to 2. Moving on to our audio tab on the left-hand side, this is where you're going to set up the audio for your stream. Are you using a standalone microphone? Are you using a Go XLR like I am? Are you using just a headset, a gaming headset, and a gaming microphone? That's where you're going to set this up, right? So I'll give you a few different scenarios. If you're using a gaming headset and microphone, your desktop audio, you're going to set to either your headphones or default if you have all your sound coming through your headphones. And then your microphone, you're going to select your headset microphone right here. If you're using a Go XLR, you're only going to have one of these selected, and that's going to be the mic auxiliary audio output, and you're going to set that to broadcast stream mix. And the reason for that is that all of your audio, everything is being routed into the Go XLR and then being routed from there into one output, and that is your broadcast stream mix. So any microphones that you're using would be set up in the mic auxiliary slots here. Any desktop audio that you want to hear, things that you're hearing, would be set up in the desktop audio section. Scrolling down here, there's not much else that we need to do here. There's some hotkeys that we can enable for our audio if you want to mess with those, but I'm using a Stream Deck and a Loop Deck, so I don't use any hotkeys for anything like that. I use the decks for all of that stuff. On the left-hand side, again, under the video section, this is where we're going to set up basically your resolution, right? What are you gaming at? What are you viewing your PC at if you're not gaming? Your base canvas resolution is going to be the resolution of your main monitor, whatever you're doing, whatever you want to show people on, right? I have a 240 hertz 1080p monitor, so my base canvas resolution is 1920 by 1080. You can downscale this. So if your base canvas resolution is 2 or 4K, you would put that resolution here. We can't select it right now just because we are recording, so it blocks this out. We can't change it. But your base canvas resolution, set that to what your main monitor is, and then your output scaled resolution, if you want to stream in 1080 or 720, that would be the output scaled resolution right here. And if you are downscaling from 2 or 4K to another resolution, then your downscale filter, you would choose Lanczos, which is the third option. And common FPS values, this is the FPS of your stream. Do you want to be streaming in 30 FPS, 34 FPS, 24 FPS, 60 FPS? If you want to be streaming there, that is the number you're going to put here. I have 60 because I'm streaming at 60 FPS. Now, there's a little bit more stuff we can go over, but those are really going to be the meat and potatoes of your streaming settings. On the left-hand side, you can set hotkeys for pretty much anything in OBS right here. Like I said earlier, if you're not using a Stream Deck or a Loop Deck, use these hotkeys. You could set them to keys on your keyboard. Maybe you have some macro keys or anything like that. Accessibility, here's some colorblind settings. You can change the color of certain things. And then under advanced, there are some important things here as well. Under general at the top, process priority, you want to keep this set to normal. If you switch this to something higher, it's going to allocate more resources to OBS, which would in turn make you drop frames in any game that you're playing or any software that you're using. Might be a little bit laggier. So you want to make sure this is set to normal. And then scrolling down, you can add an extra stream delay in here, which some people want to do that. I personally don't, but that is where you would add that right here. You can enable the automatic reconnect feature, which I have. So let's say your internet cuts out for like 10 seconds. It doesn't take your entire stream down. It'll give your viewers on Twitch like this user is reconnecting, screen will pop up, and you'll have time to kind of, when your connection comes back, it'll pick up right where you left off instead of actually shutting your stream down and having to restart the entire thing. And then that sends people more notifications. I automatically would suggest putting this on no matter what. It's not a bad feature. It actually is great. So enable that, set the retry delay to maybe 2 seconds, and then the maximum retries, maybe have it retry 25 times. And then scrolling down, there's nothing else really important in here. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video in this series where I get your streams up and running and get everything looking nice and crispy. So in today's video, we're going to be going over how to set up scenes and sources in OBS. I'm going to explain to you guys every single source in OBS and what it is used for. So grab a cup of coffee, sit back, relax, and let's get this show on the road. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, you're going to open up your OBS. Mine looks a little bit crazy. I have docs everywhere. I have all this stuff. But the main part of this video that we're going to be focusing on is the scenes and sources sections down here at the bottom left. Yours might be completely empty. Mine is very full because I have a lot of scenes and I have a lot of sources that I use within those scenes. So what we're going to do is start out by making one scene that just has a display capture. Okay, so in this scene, this is my testing scene that I created for this video. You may have nothing in here. What you're going to want to do to be able to see your screen, let's say you're watching YouTube videos on stream or just reading through Reddit posts, whatever it is, you're going to come down to the plus sign, you're going to add a display capture, and then select your monitor. This is going to allow your stream to see whatever it is on that monitor that you selected. So you can drag stuff around, move browser windows over here. It works out pretty good. So I had to make this scene so that you guys can see me and see what I'm doing. But like I said, when you create a new scene, it's going to be empty in regards to sources. So we're going to go down the list from top to bottom on what I think you guys need to be able to get your streams up and running and have everything looking really nice and crispy, right? So if you want to add a source to your scene is created, you hit the plus sign down here, you created that scene, you're going to come over to the source section. Sources are what are compiled into your scene, right? Sources are what make up your scene. It's basically a scene is just a group of sources. So come down to the plus sign under the sources section here. The top thing we have here is application audio beta. Now, application audio beta is pretty interesting because this is a beta feature. Sometimes it works really well, and I've had times where it doesn't work at all. So if we wanted to use this, what it does is this source allows you to capture audio from a specific program that's running on your computer. So let me give you an example. You're streaming and you're playing on Discord with your friends. You're playing Escape from Tarkov, just for example. Any game really would work, but you're playing Escape from Tarkov with your friends on Discord. However, you don't want your stream to hear your friends. Maybe they're a little bit rowdy. Maybe they say some crazy stuff that you don't want heard on your stream, whatever it may be. If you want to just capture the audio from Escape from Tarkov, you would use this source right here. You're going to click Application Source Beta. You're going to click Create New. We would just name it Tarkov Audio Source, and then you're going to hit OK. It's going to prompt you with this window right here. And if I had Escape from Tarkov open, which I don't, I have Spotify, World of Warcraft, Battle.net, Google Docs. Tarkov would be here if Tarkov was open. So you would select Escape from Tarkov, and then you would just hit OK. Now, that would then, let me get rid of this so we don't get confused. That would then create an audio source down here in the audio mixer where you would see that audio bar for Escape from Tarkov. Now, you are just capturing the audio from Tarkov there, and then whatever other audio you have set up in your settings over here. You'd have your mic set up, maybe your system settings, whatever it may be. You would see that plus Escape from Tarkov down here in the audio mixer. So that is application audio capture. Very useful for some instances, and realistically it's the same thing for audio input capture and audio output capture. This would be to select a specific microphone, but again, these settings you wouldn't really use, these sources, because you'd have that set up in your settings. There are some use cases, but definitely not something I want to get into in this video. Next one down on the list would be the browser source. This would be to set up any kind of browser source. Anything that has a URL and you want to display it on your stream, you would use this. Maybe a countdown, maybe some kind of webhook. You would use a browser source. Browser source is also great for enabling your alerts, your Twitch alerts, your YouTube alerts. Let's say you go to Streamlabs or Stream Elements, you set up your follower alerts, your subscriber alerts. You're going to get a URL. You would then click browser source, hit OK, and then you would paste that URL in this box right here, and then you would just hit OK, and then it would be a source on your scene that you can move around. So that would be what a browser source is used for. Next on the list, we're going to skip color source for now. Display capture, I explained this a little bit earlier. Display capture is if you wanted to capture one of your monitors on your stream. You want your audience to be able to see what it is you're doing. Maybe you're a React channel, maybe you're doing stuff like that. You would want that visible on your stream, right? So you would hit display capture, and then you would select whatever monitor you want to be captured. My 3 monitors are showing up here. The one you guys are seeing is my current monitor. So you'd select whatever monitor you want to be on your stream, and then you would hit OK, and that would be a display capture. Now moving down, the next few are fairly simple, right? They kind of speak for themselves. Game capture would be if you want to capture a game, any game that you're playing. You would hit game capture, click OK, and there's a few different modes for this. I would suggest using the Capture Any full screen application. That's going to pick up any game that you have open on your computer at any given time, as long as it's the game that you're tabbed into and is full screened. You can capture a specific game. Maybe you're playing a few games at the same time and you want to capture just one of those games. You would capture specific window and then hit OK. Then next we have image. This is pretty simple as well. This is if you want to display an image. Maybe it's a banner, maybe it's a sponsored image, maybe it's your logo somewhere on the stream. You would just select this and then browse your PC for that image file, select it, and then you can move it around your stream right here in OBS. Image slideshow speaks for itself. If you want to have multiple images in a slideshow fashion, this is what you would use. Media source is what you would use for, let's say, if you wanted to have a video playing somewhere on your stream, right? You can have a live video playing in the background of something. This would be anything media related, any kind of video file. This would work for that. For scene, now this one is a little bit confusing. I have other videos on the channel that go more in depth with this, but I'll give you a basic understanding of what this source does. So let's say, let's go to my main scene right here. You see how my camera is rounded here? It's because I have another scene where I rounded my camera. Let's go to my camera rounded scene so you guys can see. See how the edges are cut off on my camera here? The reason for this is because in this source, let me show you guys. In this scene, I have a source that is a scene source. And what that scene source is doing is pulling another scene. You see right here, I have my rounded camera scene down there. That's not the scene that we're on, but it's pulling that source into this scene. So you can pull an entire scene as a source into another scene. I have videos that explain this a little bit better. It's more in depth. It's like, let's say you have a scene built for something specific and you want that entire scene in this new scene plus some new stuff. This is what you would use for that. You would use the scene source. But again, I will link the other video where I go really in depth in that. Not many people are going to be using this, especially in the beginning. Next, going down the list, we have text. Text is really useful if you want to have something scrolling across your screen. If you just want to have text somewhere on the, in the scene in general. This is just a basic text function for sources, so you would use that. Video capture device is basically going to be any of your cameras, right? It's going to be any of the cameras that you want in your scene. So you would select video capture device, you would then click OK, and you would select any of your devices that your cameras are plugged into. I have the Camlink, I have the Instalink 360, I have the Game Capture HD 60 Pro. This is also what you would use to capture footage from, like, let's say a console, right? You have your Elgato in your PC or plugged into your PC. You plug your Nintendo Switch or your PS5, whatever, into that Elgato. You would use a video capture device and select that Elgato to get that gameplay in your scene. And then obviously we have the window capture option. You can capture any specific window that is open on your PC. Pretty self-explanatory. And then group. If you want to group some things together, like if you want to group your camera, your border, and some other things in one thing so you can move them all around together, this is basically like creating a folder that would then allow you to put sources in that folder and move them around a scene together, or hide them or lock them, whatever it may be. What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. Today is the second video in this new series that I'm doing, basically a masterclass on helping you guys set up your streams, everything to do with OBS, on Kick, Twitch, and YouTube. All of these tips and tricks for OBS will be helping you no matter where you plan on streaming. So in today's video, we're going to be going over getting everything situated in OBS so that you can control your entire stream, read your chat, see your stats, see your activity feed, and everything from within OBS so that you don't have to have multiple browser tabs open staring at it on another screen. This is extremely valuable information. A lot of people don't even know that this is possible with OBS, but I'm here to help you guys set it up. So as you guys can see here, this is my OBS. It may look a little bit different than your OBS, especially if you just downloaded and installed it and you're setting up your first streams. The first video I put out in this series was how to set up your first stream. We went over a couple of different things like creating scenes, a little bit of audio and things like that. So if you haven't checked that out, go check that out. That was the first video in this playlist. This one is going to be about setting up these docs. And when I say docs, I mean things like this, like how my Twitch chat is snapped to the side here in my OBS. My Twitch activity feed is also here. My multi-stream plugin is right here. So if I'm live on Twitch and I want to also go live on Kick, I just hit this button right here and boom, I'm also live on Kick. These are considered docs. Anything that is on the sides here that you guys can see are docs. They can either be pulled out and put anywhere on any one of your screens. You could drag them off, or you can, snap them into OBS so that they move along with OBS. Now, these docs are fantastic because they help to take all of the information you need to see and be viewing when you're live and put it right in OBS for you. So now when I'm streaming, I drag OBS over to my monitor over there and I can see everything that I need to see right there in OBS. I don't even have to have Google Chrome open, taking up more resources from my PC. So this is awesome, and I think that everyone should be using this. Now, it's very simple if you are using Twitch. Now, if you are using Twitch, if you're streaming to Twitch, when you want to use these docs, you're going to come to your settings, you're going to come over to the stream tab here, you're going to select Twitch as your service, and then there's going to be a button here that says connect account. You're basically going to log into your Twitch, you're going to hit apply and then okay, and these docs will now be integrated with OBS, and they'll be found up here in the docs tab. You could see Twitch stats, Twitch activity feed, all of that good stuff is going to be there once you log into your Twitch. If they're not enabled, you could just click it. It'll probably pop out somewhere over here, and then you could take it and you could snap them anywhere within OBS. If you put them on top of something else, it then creates these little tabs that you can flip through. So if I wanted my Twitch activity feed down here, I would just bring it down there. And if I wanted to see my multi-stream plugin again, I would click this tab. It's that simple. Me personally, I keep my activity feed there, my stream information tab right here, so I can update my game, my go live notification, the title of my stream, all from right here, and then it updates straight to Twitch. Now, where it gets a little bit complex is if you are not using Twitch, this is the only real integration we have so far with this in OBS. So let's say, for example, we're also streaming on Kick, right? I'm going to open up Kick. Okay, so as you guys can see here, I have my Kick creator dashboard open. I just recently started multi-streaming over to there, so we're going to try and grow a community over on Kick. So if you do watch Kick streams, jump over there and give me a follow. That'd be awesome. But anyway, we're right here on the creator dashboard. I'm going to minimize this for 1 second. Go back to OBS. You're going to come up here to the docs, and you're going to select custom browser docs. You're going to hit that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to type in a doc name. So let's say we want to dock our Kick chat into OBS as well. So we're going to just name this Kick chat. We're going to come back over to Google where our Kick is. We're going to see our chat right here in our creator dashboard. We're going to click this little cogwheel. We're going to click pop out chat. Now we get this little pop out. This is our Kick chat popped out. You see the URL up top here? We are going to click this. We're going to copy it. And we're going to come back here in the URL section of the custom browser doc. We're going to paste that. We're going to hit apply. And then you could close that. And now we have our Kick chat as a doc in OBS as well. So if we wanted to put it on top of our Twitch chat, boom, there it is. If we want to go back to our Twitch chat, we select it via these tabs right here down at the bottom. And you can pretty much do this with anything. If I wanted to put it on the side of the Twitch chat, you can also do that. And you can kind of make this however big you want. You can stretch and move things however you want. It's awesome. And it really blows my mind that a lot of people aren't using this when it's so readily available. Like, you can do this with literally anything. you could dock anything you want. Let's say you wanted something else. Let's pull something else up. Okay, so let's say we're watching Scotty J on Twitch. I don't really know any use case as to why you would ever want to do this in your OBS, but some people want to do things, right? So I just want to show you that anything is possible. If we wanted to put Scotty J's Twitch stream into our OBS as a doc, we would copy this URL. We would close this page. We'd come back up to custom browser docs. We would say Scotty J Twitch stream. We would just name it whatever we want. And then we're going to paste that URL in the URL section, hit apply, and you could close it. We could full screen it. And now we have this as a doc in our OBS. Basically, you could put anything you want there. Anything that has a URL can be posted as a doc in OBS, and you can move these things around anywhere you want. We could put them anywhere. Literally, I could put this on top of my audio mixer if I want it just down there at the bottom, really small. Maybe I'm monitoring a tournament or something like that, or anything, the weather, the stock market, whatever you guys want. As long as it has a URL, it can be used as a browser doc. And I think this is extremely beneficial to anyone who is streaming on Twitch, YouTube, or Kick. Like I said earlier, it's very easy if you do stream on Twitch because you have integration right there. You could log into your Twitch and it pulls all these docs automatically. You don't even need to create custom ones, but you can create custom ones for anything. YouTube chat, Kick chat, wherever you are, it will work. So that's it, guys. That's it for this video. I think this is some really useful information, and I hope a lot of you start using this because it is very, very valuable. It makes everything so much more convenient. So if you guys enjoyed this video, hit that like button. It really does help me out a lot. Subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications so you don't miss the next time I post a video. And if you want to hang out with me live, I stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/hammerdance, and also multi-stream over to Kick, kick.com/hammerdance. Links to those in the description below. But anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching and listening in. I want you to keep those hammers up, and I'll see you next time.